wild and rare. Bill Murtaugh with the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center says we had a severe level 4 geomagnetic storm after an eruption on the sun that came toward Earth.
What is that concern? Well, since we have a spectrum of about 5 different levels, this storm is at a magnitude of 4, so one of the strongest that you can really ever see, and that's why we're seeing it about as far south as the northern side of the entire United States. So a really cool phenomenon.
And even some in the Twin Cities.
Beautiful photos.
They are gorgeous.
What an incredible show. You know, a lot of times people have to go up north just to escape the light pollution here.
Bill Murtaugh of the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center said that we had a level 4 geomagnetic storm after an explosion on the sun that was aimed at Earth. With a magnitude of 4, this storm is one of the biggest you can really see. Because of this, we can see it as far south as the northern side of the whole United States, which is a really cool thing, and even some in the Twin Cities. In this video, we will share an update about what has just happened in space. Is this a foreshadowing of Jesus' return? Let's discover it today. Since there are about 5 different levels, this storm is a 4 on the scale, which makes it one of the biggest you can see. They took pictures that are beautiful in every way. It was a great show. You should know that people often have to go up north to get away from all the lights here. Something important just happened in space. The sun is becoming more active and putting out solar storms that are as strong as they have ever been. When many planets lined up, many places in the United States of America were able to see the northern lights. Several big asteroids are heading toward Earth, which raises the question, why? Why does it seem like everything is getting worse? We're not living in normal times, so the quick answer is that we are getting closer and closer to the end time described in the book of Revelation. But do you know what will be the most important news story of this century? The return of Christ will be the most important thing that happens in most of your lives, and it will have a big effect on the whole world. Christ is going to come back. There's no question about that. Jesus Christ will come back to Jerusalem and start ruling the whole world from the top of the Mount of Olives. That will be a shock to everyone, and the Bible is full of warnings about it. We will actually see the end of the Great Tribulation and the start of harsher punishments from God for those who still don't repent and refuse to obey their Maker. Every rock and island will be moved out of their places, and the sky will roll up like a scroll. The day of the Lord can be compared to a very powerful and destructive storm. In his great anger and shaking rage, God makes the earth shake. On the day of judgment, the sky and earth will shake, and the created order will shake, tear, be destroyed, and fall apart. This last shaking of the earth and sky will be so strong that it will affect everything ever made. Both verses 30 and 31 of Joel 2 talk about the same thing, and both end with the phrase, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and here on the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." The prophecy of all of it says that right before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes, the sun will turn into darkness and the moon will turn into blood. Right after the trouble that happened during those days, Jesus warns again that the sun will turn black and the moon will stop shining, that the stars will fall from the sky, and that the forces of the heavens will be shaken. The important parts of Matthew's story are Matthew 24:29 and Mark 13:24 and 25. Luke's story gives a few more details, such as the fact that there would be signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, and on the earth, and that this would cause distress and confusion among the nations. Because the forces of heaven will be shaken, men's hearts will break from fear and anticipation of what is coming to earth. The sea and the seas were screaming, and men's hearts were breaking from fear and waiting for what was coming to the earth. Luke chapter 21 verses 25 and 26. John says that the sun's darkness is like the black goat hair that was used to make sackcloth back in his time. This could be a picture of a solar eclipse or a big dust storm caused by a volcano going off. John says that the sun's darkness is as dark as sackcloth made of hair. As a result of the 9th plague, Egypt was plunged into a darkness that was almost too dark to see. It's possible that God will do the same thing again, but this time on a much bigger scale. No matter what happens, people will have a hard time seeing, even during the day, and the moon will look red, like a blood sign. The color of the second horse stands for death and disaster, especially during times of war. Chapter 6, verse 4 of Revelation, Changes in the color of the moon can happen naturally when there is a lot of dust in the air, like after an earthquake or a volcanic event. By the way, in many old texts, moon is written as full moon. Some people have said that this verse is similar to Revelation 12:7-10, because stars are used in the Bible to represent angels. John's visions of falling stars are most likely a sign of a huge meteor shower that could include larger than usual meteorites, which would make the effect stronger and make it look like the stars are falling. Satan and his followers were kicked out of heaven. However, for this to be true, it must be known that astronomical events that happen at the same time need to be understood symbolically as well. The clearing of the sky is the most interesting of these 4 natural wonders. The apostle says it's like a scroll being rolled up, but we might compare it to pulling up a spring-loaded window screen. In his apocalyptic explanation of the book of Revelation, Joseph A. Seiss says that a big round movement in the whole visible space looks like it's folding up to disappear forever. Maybe John saw clouds turning into thunderheads that were rolling and moving at breakneck speed across the vast sky. This kind of instability could make a person on the ground think that the sky was breaking up. In Isaiah chapter 34, verse 4, the day of the Lord is described. Also, a lot of land moved because the earth was shaken so hard. As a final part of the 6 seals disturbances, changes happen that move rocks on land and under the sea. It's clear that an earthquake that strong will cause damage and deaths on a scale that had never been seen before. The big day of God's revenge has come, and now that they are paying attention to him, they are thinking about what will happen when the first 6 seals of Revelation 6 are broken. Now that the day of God's anger has come, they are not sure who will be able to stand. Revelation 7 goes on to talk about how the 144,000 and the huge crowd are both kept safe. In Revelation 8, the breaking of the 7th seal shows how God will punish a world that doesn't listen to him. In chapters 8 and 9 of Revelation, these are the 6 trumpet plagues. In Revelation 11:15, the 7th trumpet is sounded, which is also known as the famous last trumpet. This is a sign that Christ will come back in power and glory, but when he does, the nations of the world will fight and curse him, even though he made them. The 7 last plagues are described in Revelation 15:1 and 16:1-21. They will be so horrible that words can't even explain them. But even here, God, who corrects and disciplines every son he loves, Hebrews 12:5-6, is doing this to wake up people and countries. When you read the chapters in Revelation, you will see that every mountain and island on earth will be shaken and there will be almost nothing left. Many hundreds of millions of men and women will finally admit that they did their job. People will truly repent and be willing to listen to the truth in a way that they have never done before. They will do this so they can listen to God's true ministers and teachers and obey their Maker. When this happens, everyone on earth will have been brought to a place where they are humble and willing to learn, and they will be ready to bow to the living Christ and the resurrected saints who will rule with him as this world changes into the world of tomorrow. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.